Hello students, I am Sana Khan and I will be teaching you about drug transporters. Its contents include introduction, types of drug transport, forms of transporter proteins that is uniport, symport and antiport, SLC drug transporters, ABC drug transporters, P-glycoprotein transporters, transporters for intestinal drug absorption, transporters for hepatic drug elimination, transporters for renal drug elimination, and conclusion. A drug transporter is a membrane protein related with the movement of ions, macromolecules or drugs across a biological membrane. These proteins are associated with the movement of substances either by facilitated diffusion or active transport. Drug transporters play a pivotal role in the absorption, distribution and elimination of a wide range of drugs in clinical use. Drugs entering into the body are transported through the plasma membrane multiple times. Perhaps hydrophobic molecules may cross the cell membrane according to simple diffusion. Most drugs require carrier proteins for their transmembrane transport. The drug transporter proteins are classified into two major groups on the basis of their differences in molecular structures, substrate specificities, and transport mechanisms. The two groups of drug transport include solute carrier superfamily, that is SLC superfamily, or ATP dependent transporter superfamily, that is ABC family. The movement of drug transporters at the basolateral and apical membrane are important determinants of drug disposition, drug-drug interactions, and variability in drug response and toxicity. Carrier-mediated processes are usually involved in drug excretion, and the drug transporters are also involved in drug absorption and tissue uptake. The solute carrier group of membrane transporters consists of over 400 members organized into 52 families. 7 subfamilies of ABC transporters genes have been identified encoding for 49 different proteins. Drug transporters can be categorized as influx or efflux transporters depending on the direction in which carrier proteins translocate the substrate across the cell membrane. ABC transporters are by primarily efflux transporters because they use energy derived from ATP hydrolysis to mediate the primary active export of drugs, often against a steep diffusion gradient. SLC transporters are mainly associated with the uptake of small molecules into the cells via facilitated diffusion down the electrochemical gradient. SLC transporters can either have efflux properties or are bidirectional depending on the concentration gradients of substrate and coupled ions across the membrane. The intestine, liver and kidney are the main organs involved in the absorption, distribution and elimination of drugs. Types of drug transport. There are two types of drug transport, active transport and passive transport. First is the active transport. Active transport consists of the movement of a drugged substance across a membrane against its concentration gradient. This is generally to accommodate high concentrations of molecules such as glucose or amino acids. If the process utilizes adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP, it is called primary active transport. Secondary active transport is associated with the use of an electrochemical gradient and without utilizing ATP. Carrier proteins can transport ions and molecules either passively through facilitated diffusion or by secondary active transport. A carrier protein transport molecules from area of low concentration to areas of high concentration. These carrier proteins consist of receptors that bind to a specific molecule or substrate to be transported. The carrier protein substrate is then released at the site according to its binding affinity there. Facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion is the transfer of molecules or ions across the membrane through specific transport proteins without the use of ATP. Facilitated diffusion or passive diffusion is used specifically in the case of large polar molecules and charged ions. The substrate enters from one side of the gated carrier, and without using ATP, the substrate is released into the cell. Next is the forms of transporter proteins, that is uniport, symport and antiport. Uniporter, symporter and antiport are three different forms of solute carrier transporters. Uniporter proteins bind to one molecule of substrate at a time and transport it along its concentration gradient, whereas symporter transports many different types of molecules across the cell membrane. An antiporter is involved in secondary active transport of two or more different molecules or ions across membrane opposite direction. The transporters help in the transport of water-soluble solutes through the lipid bilayer of biological membrane. SLC drug transporters. Solute carrier transporters consists of a family of more than 380 membrane-bound proteins that facilitate the transport of a myriad of substrates across biological membranes and play an important role in physiological processes ranging from the cellular uptake of nutrients to the absorption of drugs and other xenobiotics. The SLC subfamilies, that is SLC15, SLC22, SLCO and OAT, that is organic anion transporter, are considered to have a major role in drug uptake into intestine, liver and kidney, whereas SLC47 members mediate drug efflux into bile and urine. Most of these transporters have a similar protein structure in that they consist of 12 putative membranes spanning domains, and their molecular mass is approximately between 50 and 100 kDa. Oligopeptide transporters, that is SLC15, operate as H-ion coupled symporters of di and tripeptides and have the ability to transport peptidomimetics and other drug substrates. Peptide transporters 1 is the small intestinal low affinity high capacity peptide transporter, which is also expressed at low levels in the kidney. PEP2 is the predominant high affinity low capacity renal peptide transporter, although expression has also been observed in other organs. Typical PEP-T1 substrates have amino and carboxylic groups that can be mapped onto a di or tripeptide skeleton, which allows for rational prodrug design to improve oral drug bioavailability upon increased intestinal absorption. PEP-T2 reabsorbs renally filtered drugs from tubular fluid into proximal tubules, thereby affecting the systemic pharmacokinetics of some drugs. PEP1 or 2 substrates include many important drug classes, including antivirals, beta-lactam antibiotics, and angiotensin converting enzymes, inhibitors, organic cation anion deuterion transporters, that is SLC22, are characterized by a remarkably broad substrate specificity and wide tissue distribution. The major drug transporting members of this family can be found in the liver, kidney and intestine. The organic anion transporters are mainly located in the kidney, but some also occur in the liver, placenta and brain. They function as antiporters by coupling the cellular influx of an organic anion to the exchange with dicarboxylates or other organic anions from the cell. The existing inside-out concentration gradient of these anions provides the driving force for the active uptake of anionic drugs against the inside negative membrane potential. Organic anion transporters are part of the excretory system for anionic drug substrates, and they typically interact with hydrophilic small molecular weight substrates like p-aminohippuric acid, which are categorized as type 1 organic anions. SLC22 subfamily members that specialize in the translocation of cationic drug consists of the organic cation transporters that operate as uniporters, the organic cation and carnitine transporters that could be a proton antiporter, and the sodium ion carnitine symporter that also acts as a sodium ion independent organic cation antiporter. The tissue distribution of these transporters differs among species in human. Organic cation transporter 1 is widely expressed most strongly in liver, to a lesser extent in intestinal and even lower in kidney. Organic cation transporter 2 is present abundantly in the kidney, whereas the expression is low in the small intestine and absent in the liver. Organic cation transporter 1 is strongly expressed in kidney, skeleton, bone marrow and trachea, and weaker in intestine and liver. OCTN2 is distributed ubiquitously with strongest expression in kidney, skeletal muscle, heart, placenta and liver. Both OCT1 and OCT2 mediate cellular uptake by facilitated diffusion down the inside negative electrochemical gradient of comparatively small monovalent type 1 organic cations. For OCT2, recent quantitative structure activity relationship models have emphasized the importance of hydrophobicity, molecular size and shape as important determinants in defining the binding of drug substrates and may prove useful in the prediction of unwanted drug interactions. OCTN1 and OCTN2 exhibit a similar though somewhat less extensive substrate specificity. The SLCO subfamily includes organic anion transporting polypeptides, that is OATPs, which are involved in the cellular uptake of large and relatively hydrophobic organic anions that are classified as type 2. Further, the substrate specificity of the OATPs take in account a wide range of amphipathic organic compounds including bile salts, steroid conjugates, thyroid hormones and many drugs. The multitude of structurally diverse compounds that are recognized by OATPs strongly suggests the presence of multiple substrate binding sites, and evidence for this is emerging. Recently, two human orthologs of the multi-drug and toxin extrusion MATE family of bacteria have been identified as H-ion organic cation antiport system and assigned as members of the SLC47 subfamily. MATE1 is primarily expressed in the kidney but also exists in the liver, adrenal gland, testes and skeletal muscles, whereas MATE2K has been found exclusively in the kidney. MATE1 and MATE2K are efflux transporters energized by an inwardly directed proton gradient to overcome the outside positive membrane potential. They typically transport type 1 organic cations, and with a few exceptions, their substrate specificity is similar and much like that of OCT and OCTN transporters. ABC drug transporters. ABC transporters that are involved in drug transport can be found in the ABCB, ABCC and ABCG families. Because of their expression in transporting epithelia, including the intestine, liver and kidney, the ABC transporters play an important role in the absorption, distribution and removal of drugs. Many of them are also associated with multi-drug resistance, that is MDR, of tumor cells causing treatment failure in cancer. The minimal functional configuration of an ABC transporter has a molecular weight of 150 to 200 kDa and is made of two transmembrane domains, each consisting of 6 transmembrane helices and 2 cytoplasmic ATP binding domains. They bind and hydrolyze ATP to drive primary active drug efflux, which is directly linked to their ATPase activity. Within the ABCC subfamily, 9 full multi-drug resistance associated proteins, that is MRP members, have been identified, among which MRP2 ABCC2, MRP3 ABCC3 and MRP4 ABCC4 are the most important drug transporters. The MRPs mediate the transport of organic anionic compounds including glucuronide, glutathione and sulfate conjugates, but also uncharged amphipathic and even some cationic substrates in the presence of reduced glutathione. MRPs are expressed in intestine, liver and kidney and other tissues with a barrier function such as placenta and brain capillaries. MRP2 is located at the apical membrane of polarized cells, emphasizing its important function in the terminal excretion of anionic drugs and conjugates. Because of its basolateral localization, MRP3 mediates the cellular efflux of mainly glucuronidated drug conjugates from the intestine and liver into the blood. The remarkable feature of MRP4 is its dual membrane localization. In hepatocytes, the transporter is localized at the basolateral membrane, whereas it is expressed at the apical membrane of renal proximal tubular cells. In the intestine, the subcellular distribution of MRP4 has not been established yet. The localization to both the apical and the basolateral membrane was found in the colonic epithelial cell line with a higher apical abundancy. The ABCG2 gene product, breast cancer resistant protein, is the only member of this family that is involved in drug transport. Like other G subfamily members, BCRP is comprised of one ATP binding site and one transmembrane region, a structure half the size of a functional ABC transporter. These half transporters are generally thought to homo or heterodimerize to create the active transporter. BCRP was initially discovered in drug-resistant cancer cell lines and therefore many anti-cancer drugs are among the first reported substrates. To date, a large number of hydrophobic drug substrates have been described, and although a clear structure transport relationship has not been identified, it should be noted that many of them are also transported by PGP, that is P-glycoprotein. Similar to P-glycoprotein, BCRP is expressed in the apical membrane of intestine, liver, kidney, placenta and brain capillaries, and often in stem cells population, where it is thought to play a role in differentiation and protection against xenobiotic. PGP has a miscellaneous collection of substrates that not only vary in size and structure but also vary in several chemical properties. The primary criteria for subjecting a substrate to PGP efflux is the bilayer lipid membrane interaction. This enlightens the immensely spread of structural specificity or specifically the non-specific nature of PGP. However, this is one unifying structural feature which is common in all the substrates of PGP, and that is they all possess specially separated hydrophilic and hydrophobic moieties. PGP helps in the transportation of many substrates across the cell membrane that includes tacrolimus, colchicine, steroids, chemotherapeutic agents like etoposide, vinblastine, lipids, immunosuppressive agents, bilirubin, cardiac glycosides like digoxin, HIV type 1 antiretroviral therapy agents, and glucocorticoids, example dexamethasone. The ability of the P-glycoprotein to transport the substrates also makes it suitable for many roles like regulation of drugs bioavailability and distribution. Increasing the intestinal expression of P-glycoprotein may decrease the drug's absorption, which is a substrate for it, leading to reduced bioavailability and hindrance in attaining the therapeutic plasma concentration. Removing the toxic metabolites and xenobiotics from the cells into urine, bile and intestinal lumen. Transporting the compounds out of the brain across the blood-brain barrier, uptake of digoxin, dendritic cell migration, protecting the hematopoietic stem cells from toxin. Molecules which blocks PGP efflux are known as PGP inhibitors. Simultaneous administration of the PGP substrate with the PGP inhibitors prevent the substrate expulsion by PGP and delivers the projected therapeutic benefits of the substrate drugs. First generation inhibitors. This generation includes those agents which were initially developed for some other indication but later found to be PGP substrate or inhibitor. For example, verapamil, trifluperazine, cyclosporin, quinidine, vincristine, etc. As most of these compounds are PGP substrates by themselves, they tend to interact with the protein and compete with the other substrates and acts as competitive inhibitors. They are non-selective and less potent. Second generation inhibitors. Inhibitors of the first generation were modified structurally by altering the chirality to achieve a better pharmacological profile, ultimately reducing the toxicity of a parent compound. For example, R isomer of verapamil, that is dexverapamil, does not have any cardiac activity. A cyclosporin, that is PSC833, valsipodar, lacks immunosuppressive character, etc. These resultant modulators remain PGP substrate, showing low protein affinity. By itself, their PGP inhibitory dose is far beyond the tolerable dose levels. Third generation inhibitors, more potent compounds than the first and second generation, were obtained by the application of the quantitative structure activity relationship to high throughput screening techniques and combinational chemistry methods. Hence, the inhibitors of this generation are highly specific and lack interaction with CYP450 3A4 system, requiring no alterations in the chemotherapy doses. For example, tariquidar, an anthraനിലamide derivative, is a non-transported PGP inhibitor. It inhibits the ATPase by interacting with a distinct modulatory binding site on the protein. It was thought to be the most promising molecule, however, the use is still suspended because of the critical toxicity reports in phase 3 trials in lung carcinoma cases. PGP inhibitor bypasses the PGP efflux. The inhibitors can be identified as various natural products, pharmaceutical inert excipients and formulations. To circumvent PGP efflux, the prodrug technique is being applied. Cellular and molecular biologists now give emphasis on designing inhibitors depending upon the information extracted about the protein's vital structural organization. Intestinal P-glycoprotein plays an important role in oral absorption by limiting the drug uptake from intestinal lumen. As the PGP plays an important role in drug absorption and brain uptake, therefore many pharmaceutical companies have begun to incorporate PGP drug transport screening into their drug discovery processes. Transporters for intestinal drug absorption. The absorption of drugs from the gastrointestinal tract is a critical factor in determining oral bioavailability. Enterocytes of the small intestine are equipped with an array of influx transporters at the luminal membrane for the absorption of food components and drugs. Although much less is known about the subsequent transport of substrates into the bloodstream, ABC transporters in the basolateral membrane could facilitate this step. However, as a first barrier against xenobiotics, the intestine also has a high expression of ABC transporters in the brush border membrane that can effectively pump drugs back into the intestinal lumen, thereby limiting the extent of substrate drug absorption. A number of SLC drug transporting proteins have been described at the brush border membrane of human enterocytes, including PEPT1, OATP1A2, OATP2B1, OCTN1 and OCTN2. Expression levels of some of these transporters appear to vary along the gastrointestinal tract, but results from different studies on mRNA and protein expression do not concord except for PEPT1, which is predominantly expressed in the small intestine. PEPT1 recognizes various peptide-like drugs, and targeting this transporter has been used to improve the oral bioavailability of poorly absorbed drugs such as nucleoside analogues. An example is acyclovir, the bioavailability of which was enhanced by the factor of 2 to 3 via the oral administration of its valine ester, that is valacyclovir, which is a PEPT1 substrate. Uptake of cationic drugs from the gut lumen is mediated by OCTN1 and OCTN2, which are energized by electroneutral cation-cation exchange. Mutations in the genes encoding for these transporters have been associated with inflammatory bowel disease, and polymorphisms could be of influence on cationic drug absorption. OATP1A2 and OATP2B1 are responsible for the uptake of a broad range of amphipathic drugs. While there is quite some overlap in specificity, some substrates are preferentially or exclusively transported by one of them. For example, only OATP1A2 is able to mediate fexofenadine uptake and the likely target of inhibition by grapefruit juice. The first step in secretion of cationic drugs from blood to gut lumen is mediated by OCT1 in the basolateral membrane, followed by the action of efflux transporters in the brush border membrane. These are the OCTNs that can also operate as secondary transporters by exchanging luminal organic cations against the higher concentration of intracellular cationic drugs. Substrate and inhibitor drugs of intestinal transporters. Intestinal transporters PEP-T1 has a substrate drugs as beta-lactam, antibiotics, cephalexin, amoxicillin, ACE inhibitors, captopril, valacyclovir. Inhibitor drugs include 4-amino-methyl benzoic acid. OATP1A2 has substrate drugs as erythromycin, fexofenadine, imatinib, levofloxacin and another fluoroquinolones, lopinavir and methotrexate. Its inhibitor drugs include rifampicin, rifamycin and verapamil. OATP2B1 has substrate drugs as statins, fexofenadine, glyburide, bosentan and rifampicin. Its inhibitor drugs include rifampicin and cyclosporin. OCTN1 has substrate drugs as pregabalin, tiotropium, ipratropium, pyrilamine, quinidine and quinine. Its inhibitor drugs include verapamil and quinidine. OCTN2 has substrate drugs as etoposide, cephaloridine, ipratropium and its inhibitor drugs include verapamil and quinidine. Transporters for hepatic drug elimination. The liver has a remarkable ability to effectively extract drugs with high protein binding from the blood circulation. The hepatic uptake of drugs is frequently followed by phase 1 and phase 2 biotransformation and efflux of the metabolite into bile and contribute to the hepatic first pass effect. Influx and efflux transporters expressed at the sinusoidal or basolateral and canalicular or apical membrane of the hepatocytes have been recognized as critical determinants in drug elimination. Drug influx transporters expressed at the sinusoidal membrane include OATP1B1, OATP1B3, OATP2B1, OAT2 and OCT1. In particular, OATP1B1 is recognized as an important uptake transporter for many clinically relevant drugs such as macrolide, antibiotics, statins, glitazones, sartans, and angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Clinically relevant drug-drug interactions have been described for OATP1B1 mediated statin transport with the immunosuppressant drug cyclosporin A. OAT2 is moderately expressed and could be involved in the hepatic uptake of type 1 organic anions such as salicylate and indomethacin. Although OAT2 likely functions as an antiporter, its transport mode and particularly the identity of the intracellular counterions have not yet been resolved. OCT1 mediates the influx of type 1 organic cations into hepatocytes. However, as a bidirectional electrogenic uniporter, it can also facilitate the efflux of cationic drugs back into the blood depending on the electrochemical gradient. A clinically important substrate is metformin, which is among the most widely prescribed drugs for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. Its antidiabetic action is dependent on uptake into hepatocytes and certain loss of function. Variants of the transporter could be associated with reduced therapeutic efficacy, although recent clinical studies have not confirmed this supposition. Efflux transporters expressed in the canalicular membrane represent the final step in the vectorial transport of drugs and drug metabolite from blood into bile. Excretion of type 1 and 2 cationic drugs across the canalicular membrane is mediated by MATE1 and MDR1 or PGP respectively. Metformin is a good substrate of MATE1, although the drug is mainly excreted into urine by tubular secretion. MRP2 and BCRP are primarily responsible for the canalicular efflux of unconjugated and conjugated anionic drugs, including glucuronide, sulfo, and glutathione conjugates. Not all phase 2 drug metabolites formed in the hepatocytes are transferred to bile. The localization of MRP3 and MRP4 at the sinusoidal membrane indicates that these conjugates are also transported back into the circulation so that they can undergo renal elimination. The localization of MRP3 and MRP4 at the sinusoidal membrane indicates that these conjugates are also transported back into the circulation so that they can undergo renal elimination. Transporters for renal drug elimination. The renal handling of drugs involves passive processes including glomerular filtration and back diffusion along the nephron and carrier mediated secretion and reabsorption that are mainly located in the proximal tubule. For most drugs that undergo carrier mediated transport in the kidney, renal secretion can be considered as a vectorial process involving the uptake of substances from the blood across the basolateral membrane of proximal tubular cells, followed by their efflux across the brush border membrane into urine. At the basolateral membrane, separate influx transporters exist for the uptake of mainly type 1 organic anions and cations, which are notable for their high clearance capacity, wide range of substrate accepted, and involvement in drug-drug interactions. Because of efficient uptake, many drugs tend to accumulate in the cell, sometimes causing nephrotoxicity. The large number of efflux transporters expressed at the brush border membrane emphasizes the importance to ensure rapid efflux of potentially toxic compounds into urine. The uptake of anionic drugs at the basolateral membrane of the renal proximal tubule is regulated by OAT1 and OAT3. Both transporters have overlapping substrate specificities and share the same mode of transport driven by the exchange of organic anions with dicarboxylates. SLC and ABC transporters present in the intestine, liver and kidney are more and more being recognized as significant determinants of drug disposition and drug-drug interactions. Since there exists a considerable functional redundancy in transporters, especially for apical efflux at the intestine, liver and kidney membranes, clinically relevant drug-drug interactions and genetic variability are difficult to predict from the in vitro experiments. An important step is to elucidate the relative contribution of the target transporter to the overall membrane transport of a specific drug. A wealth of information has been accumulated about the structure and function of transporter proteins, but much remains unresolved regarding their molecular mechanism, structure, function relationships, and regulation. Many of the necessary tools are now available to gain a greater insight into each of these fundamental questions. A next challenge is to study the coordinated action of influx and efflux transporters, drug metabolizing enzymes, and their co-regulation by nuclear receptors as an integrated system. Such a system that includes quantitative information on distribution, kinetics, genetic variation, and abundance of transport proteins throughout the body as already available for many metabolizing enzymes will eventually lead to an in silico human model which has the ability to predict and stimulate effectively the entire disposition and exposure of drugs in terms of pharmacological networks. As genetic variability in pharmacokinetics is concerned, it seems an oversimplification to suggest that one gene or single nucleotide polymorphism really matters. Rather, it is more likely that genes combine to create inter-individual variability. To reach the goal of true individualized therapy, the system's pharmacology approach would likely to reach the goal of true individualized therapy, a system's pharmacology approach would likely prove to be essential.